Let's start in the meat of discourse, how to prompt with ChatGPT. I'm going to teach you my framework that works everywhere. But first, let's understand why do we need a framework. The first mistake we all do when we start using tool like ChatGPT is to use the Google method. The Google method is simply what we have been doing the last 15 years, is to research something based on keywords. As we are humans, we are lazy. It's often our favorite method because we have to write the least word to get the maximum output. Let's see together what happens if we are using ChatGPT like Google. Imagine that I want to issue a reminder to one of my clients who didn't pay. I will write inside ChatGPT dunning letter. Let's see what happens. So we get something quite fast, but we only get a description of what is dunning letter. The problem is that it doesn't really help us because what we wanted is to send the letter. We wanted to have the letter drafted. So this is not working well because it doesn't really help us with our work. And that's where 90% of the people will usually stop because they think ChatGPT is smart, but not helpful. And imagine if you are working with somebody. Imagine that you want them to write the dunning letter for you. Are you really going just to send them in Teams, in a chat, dunning letter? No. You are going to explain what is the problem and what you want from them. Well, ChatGPT is exactly the same way. It's like an assistant to whom you need to explain the context and be specific about what you want, and also give a clear instruction to have clear expectation and have a clear output from ChatGPT. This is why I'm bringing a team to solve a crime, which is called the CSI framework. You are going to prompt using the CSI letters, meaning C for context. The context is basically explaining who you are and the context of your company. It is being specific. What is your problem? I is to give a clear instruction. Because if you just stop at context and specific, then you still let too much freedom to ChatGPT to generate the output for you. Now, let's use our example of dunning letter and let's see how we can use CSI with I am an accountant being the context, my client has an overdue being the specificity and the problem, and being specific about the instruction. Now let's see if we use the CSI framework, if we have a better output from ChatGPT. Already, it starts to write the letter, and we can see that we have exactly a letter on overdue, on the outstanding balance, and we ask nicely about the reminder, and we also ask what is the status. So we are quite gentle. Now, the problem is that this client didn't pay since a long time, and it's not the first time that we have this problem. So do you think this letter will be enough to get our money back? No, it's not enough because we are too gentle. So how are we going to solve this? If we want to solve this problem, we are going to bring a second team to make sure we get our money back. And we are going to bring the FBI. FBI stands for F, the format, B, the blueprint, and I, identity. If we get back our example, where at the beginning we had, if we get back our example, where at the beginning we had this prompt, I am an accountant, my client has an overdue for 2 months, can you draft a communication to them? We are going to add F, the format, so we are going to have a formal letter. B, my favorite part, the blueprint. We have something in mind, but we don't really know how to say that, so we'll let ChatGPT formulate for us. And just using words like tone to be hard or legal actions, we know it's going to have much more impact than our previous letter. And finally, I for identity, where we will ask ChatGPT to act as the best lawyer. And here, identity, you don't always need it, but it could be really useful in this type of situation. Let's go into ChatGPT to see how we are going to use this framework. Let's see now the output once we use the FBI formula on top of CSI. You can see it started with a letterhead, and we have already in our title legal actions. You will also notice that our tone has changed, and we are using words to escalate the situation. As we wanted, we have words like lawsuit, seeking a court judgment, or engaging debt collection agencies. So, what do you think of this letter? Do you think this will have more impact than the previous one? And here is an additional tip. You can also ask, can you list the legal action in a bullet point list and redraft this letter? I like to do it that way because you see here, for a human is actually much easier to read in bullet points. And we know that if somebody came across this letter, they will first read that. And I assure you, if you read that, I'm sure your client or yourself, you are going to react on this. This is how you can use the framework CSI plus FBI. And I recommend you to first try all of your prompts in ChatGPT with at least CSI. And when you want something more complex, use FBI. And the more you will get used to this framework, the more you will see what works, and the more you can take freedom from this framework and build your own frameworks based on your experience.